Hello, oh fuck, my glasses. What a terrible start. Hello once again, Noodles and Nudettes. Now, it is not Friday, it is Tuesday. I feel like a pile of shit. I feel so ill. I have been off school for the past 2 days. And I'm worrying that my strength will begin to wither by the time Friday hits. So here we are. Final Fantasy Fridays on a Tuesday. You can kind of call this like Final Fantasy Fridays Extra again, if you want. Now, I'm terribly sorry for the last episode being incredibly short. People must be really pissed off at me because that one's not really hitting off as much as the other ones have. So, I have tea, by the way. That's why I'm a bit quiet. Oh, it's lovely. It's a good cup of tea. Anyway, yeah. So, I'm sorry about that. I will make up to you today because I have no time limits today. Well, maybe actually, 2 hours maybe is the minimum I could film. Maximum, sorry. But yes. So, ladies and gents, we have a lot of news to cover, and I will get it all covered. And as I promised, I will do Final Fantasy XIII-2 done last time, which was explain how they managed to get into YouTube and how Final Fantasy Fridays managed to build itself up from the steaming pile of shit that it once was. So, this week's news, ladies and gents. Final Fantasy XIII-2 has been beaten in one live stream setting. Now, it's not really news, it's just something I want to, get out of there, because it was done by one of the people at Project Crystallis, which is a really good petition, which I support. I talked about it before. What the fuck? Why is One Direction playing? TV. Sorry. Yeah, so Project Crystallis, I've talked about it before. They want to get more information about Versus and Type 0 for the PSP getting a Western localization. So, yes, it has been beating in one live stream. 30 hours it took. The guy at the end was just so relieved that it was done with. Like, honestly, grinding for a day and a bit. That's what it was. They do a lot of stuff. They also did a charity live stream of Final Fantasy 12 for 5 hours, and it was unbelievable. You should go and support them. They're fantastic community, fantastic support. They even interviewed the voice of Fang and Vanille and Chris Smith, I believe. It's fantastic. Tea break. Actually, that's not that good. It's awful. Yes, so that was just a short snippet of news that I wish to confer with all you people out there. So, piece of big news that I want to cover today is Lightning Returns demo details have been announced. So, yes, the trailer that you saw was mostly set in what's it called again? Oh my god. Not Lumina. Luxarian, that's it. The trailer in Luxarian is practically most of the stuff which you will see in the demo. Basically, the demo is going to be a bit longer than Final Fantasy. A bit shorter than Final Fantasy XIII-2's because it was quite long. You got practically half of the episode, in the demo, which. You got up to fighting Atlas as well, which you did have to go back and grind. Even in the demo, you had to grind, for God's sake. Pardon me, because I didn't even finish the demo. I did a playthrough of the demo on my old channel, and it was just, oh, for God's sake, it took like 7 parts to finish the demo. 7 whole parts, bitches. So yeah. Yes, so the main objective of the demo is you're in Luxarian. I don't think it's going to be as action oriented as Final Fantasy XIII-2's was. Basically, you have to go around and find these numbers that have been engraved on walls to try and find out this sort of code. You're going all Lara Croft style, puzzles and whatnot. But I hope it's not like that clock puzzle that was in XIII-2 everywhere, because that drove me fucking insane. That was so. To this day, I still do not know how that works. I just walked around the clock randomly until I got it. That one in Erba took me like an hour. It took me an hour to do. I did read the tutorial. Normally I don't, because when I first got 13, paradigm shift tutorial, nah, fuck this, bye bye, I'm an expert, I know what to do. I didn't know what to do, so I had to go back, start the game again, finished it. But Oh, it was just so annoying, that clock. But what was it called? The Hands of Time. That's what it was called. Jesus. Sorry for my profanities, but yeah, the demo is going to be, I don't know when it's going to be out, but the game is supposed to come out on October the 31st, which I put in the last video. Yeah, October the 31st, and it's that's like that. So that moves me on to another thing about Lightning Returns. There have been, I don't know if that's just a rumour or some sort of tech wizard somewhere is putting up all this, but Lightning Returns is going to have some problems for some gamers. Now, this is because the graphics are going to be like 13.2. They're going to be downgraded a bit so it can fit on one disc. Okay? This is like the technical specs. If you don't like technical specs, go put on some music or something. Go put on some Mozart. Put your feet up, have a cup of tea, come back in 5 minutes. There you go. So, the graphical problems with Lightning Returns is it's going to look a bit shabby. It's not going to look as good as we expect games now to come out. It's still going to look good. Like 13.2 did look good. But it was the, like when you run the normal, you get two types of graphics. This is what I'm just clarifying. You get cutscene graphics and gameplay graphics. So it gets bigger names, but I'm just dumbing it down. Sorry everyone, I know you probably know what they are, but yeah, they've got cutscene graphics and gameplay graphics. The cutscene graphics in Final Fantasy, we all know, are possibly the best graphics around, because that ending in 13.2 was just fantastic. Sarah just looked like a person. The rest of them looked a bit cartoony, but Sarah, that's why she's our cover star for today. Yeah, she just looked absolutely fantastic in it. But the gameplay graphics are the sort of downgraded graphics that you get. Now, in Final Fantasy XIII-2, I think there was like 8 cutscenes. No, wait, hang on. There was the intro, there was 2 bits of the intro, there was lightning transforming, and there was the ending. So, all in all, there was about 4 proper good cutscenes. The rest were all gameplay cutscenes. Not cutscenes, gameplay cutscenes, which are just like pieces of cinematics that happen in the game whilst playing. Not pieces of cinematics that happen post to the game, that happen out with the game. But in Final Fantasy XIII, there was loads. You got a cinematic cutscene every like hour or two, every half hour. You got a really good cutscene and it looked fantastic, it looked amazing. The graphics in 13 possibly are they are the best graphics in any Final Fantasy game. That's why for the Xbox and all that, I believe it was on 3 discs, but on the PS3 it was on 1 disc. But they had to keep 13.2 on 1 disc because they wanted to make it a sort of open world thing, which, you know, failed. The whole time traveling thing, it failed. But I admire them for trying. They were trying something different. Sure, they didn't get as much reception as they probably wanted, but they did get it. They got all this stuff, all this nonsense. They got all the crap from all the fans. Oh, you've changed Final Fantasy too much, but you didn't. 13 was still a good, hardcore, ground, earthbound Final Fantasy. Very down to earth. I loved it. Favorite Final Fantasy. So, another problem is people have been complaining about the battle system. Now, they think the battle system is trying to be too action-oriented, but still include the sort of time-based thing. Now, the battle system is called Amazing ATB, which just sounds fucking terrible. But it is supposed to be this amazing ATB, and it, quote-unquote, there, amazing ATB. But it's supposed to be, it's too hard to get your head around. The paradigm system, everyone was like, ugh, my brain is melting. What does all this mean? What is Cerberus? What is Tri-Attack? What is Paladin? What does it mean? Where's the job system? Because I'm a 4-year-old idiot and I can't correspond eye contact with my hand movements. What is happening? Maybe not quite as dramatic as that, but you know, it was like that. People didn't know what was happening, but you got used to it. Paradigm system was one of the most fluent Final Fantasy battle systems in my opinion. The worst was 12. 12 tried to be too action-oriented, tried to go for Kingdom Hearts. It worked in Kingdom Hearts, but it was too odd. It didn't feel right for Final Fantasy. But the Paradigm system did bring back some old favourites. You got the turn-based, you got the choose your command type thing, your magic, your stuff, everything. I enjoyed it. My favourite battle system and game and story and characters and hot, sexy ass. I didn't mean to say that. But the battle system in Lightning Returns is a lot different because it's like when you just stall. Sorry, not just stall. If you get a a summon. If you summon something in 13, where the attacks are on the button pad, triangle will do something, square will do something, and get combinations. That's what Lightning Returns is like, pardon me, normally, because it's all lightning, which I am annoyed by, because on my old channel, my most successful video was my video called Final Fantasy XIII-3 Wishlist. Now this got over 800 views or something, which was good for my standards, but I wanted 5 things from that game. My number one thing I wanted from that game was I wanted there to be more characters. I wanted to have a huge party. I wanted to have all these people fighting for me, because if I'm myself, it just feels wrong. Like, how hard are all of us even gonna have to grind? You know, you don't even get the creature create. Sorry, that was ages ago. You don't even get the crystals. You don't get them. You don't get the monsters. You don't get the Pokemon based battle system. You don't get that anymore. You get lightning. Now, as much as I like lightning, I'm going to absolutely hate this battle system. That I wanted Fang and Vanille and Snow and Hope. Well, we know Noel's coming back. Hope did the voiceover for the Luxanian trailer. I don't know, but it's just I wanted there to be more people, because there's a lot of backstory as well they haven't covered. I mean, sure, in 13.2 they managed to explain Noel's and Caius's and Mule's, but there's still stuff about Lightning and Sarah we don't know. We don't know about their childhood. We don't know what's happened. Well, we know about their parents a bit, but it'd be good if they could have dived deeper. They should have done a prequel. You had so much space, Square Enix. You should have done a prequel to Final Fantasy 13. It would have been so good. You could have called it before 13. Then you could have done it after 13. You could have went anywhere with the series of that, but no. You keep going forward and forward and forward. You're making too many plot holes. Lightning Returns is a plot hole fixer. 13.2 was a plot hole fixer, and it made even more plot holes. It just doesn't make sense. But all the time traveling, like, you've erased stuff that hasn't happened, but some people might not have erased that. Then they'll go into Lightning Returns thinking, oh, this happened, this didn't happen. It's not going to make any sense for some people. It's like the ending to Half-Life. If you chose not to join G-Man, then you died. But in Half-Life 2, oh no, you're here, you're happy no matter what you've done. We don't care about your views or opinions. Fuck you, player. You know, it's not as good as I wanted it to be. Everything. Lightning Returns, I'm disappointed with you. There's another thing, ranting on about. It's a rant. Friday, Tuesday. Lightning Returns. It sounds terrible. It sounds like a 3-year-old game. Now, I'm not trying to pose hatred here, but I watched the entire live stream of Square Enix announcing that, right? And they said the 2 things they were focusing on were Lightning Returns, which was her returning, not the name, and World Driven. I went, okay, this is going to be good, 13.3, and then the guy went, I'm proud to announce our new project, Lightning Returns. It's not even Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, it's Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, which sucks so much. Because I've said this in like every single Final Fantasy Fridays I have done, probably, that 13.2 sounds like it's in the mainstream canon of this series. Lightning Returns sounds like Dirge of Cerberus. It sounds like a game no one's ever... Like, you could play Final Fantasy VII, all of them, and not even touch Dirge of Cerberus, because it's not Final Fantasy VII at the top. I mean, before Crisis and Crisis Core, at least they had Final Fantasy VII before them. Don't quote me on that, maybe they didn't, but they're popular, they were good games. But Lightning Returns, it should have been called 13.3. Because I think, everyone would have went, boo, Square Enix, linearity, stuff 3, but they should have. Everyone knew there was going to be a 13.3, sorry, everyone knew that ending. Everyone went, right, 13.3, and then Lightning Returns, I'm sorry, but it's just not working for me. We've only covered 2 pieces of news, my god, and it's 14 minutes in. We need to get going. Oh no, here's something else to rant about. Final Fantasy Versus 13 has changed its battle system. Well done. Well done, Square Enix. You idiots. Sorry, I coughed there out of anger and vanquish and horror. But Lightning... No, I'm not even talking about Lightning. Final Fantasy Versus 13, the thing I was looking forward to the most was the battle system. Its battle system was like Dirge of Cerberus. It was the action stuff. Like, you could even go into first person shooter in this game. Come on, man. But no, Square Enix have went, oh, this might be a bit difficult for some gamers. Let's make it even harder for gamers. They've changed it all. They've changed the battle system. So it's going to delay its release even more. They've actually, at least they've given us up some piece of news. It's either going to be released in the 4th quarter of 2013, which is the end, or the 1st quarter of 2014, which is good. But as you know, Square Enix, it'll be out in 2017 on all next gen platforms probably for Versus. Versus is going to get cancelled. I mean, you can't keep a game running this. Look at Duke Nukem Forever. It was like in production for what, 10 years, and it's the worst game ever. It's absolutely terrible. I don't get it. It's just pointless having this run in production for something. If Versus is crap, boy, Square Enix, am I coming for you? Because I have waited. I bought PS3. No, well, that's actually kind of lying. I didn't buy it for Versus, but I got into Final Fantasy, and then I saw Versus, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this looks amazing. The characters, the colours, the story. It's dark. It's not, oh, happy-go-lucky, oh, flans, oh, trees, oh, Mog, magic, black magic, white magic. Oh, everything's fine in the end. It'll be fine. That's why 13-2's ending was good. You pussies, it was good, the ending to that, because it wasn't happy. Happy endings suck. There are suckers endings. There you go. Cynical Mr. Metaphor on the house, bitches. But, you know, they're going to get so much anger from fans. And you can't just, like, Versus is going to be nothing like what we know it is right now. Like, they probably changed the whole, Stella will be good. Stella and Noctis will have kids. You'll play as the kid. Noctis will have nothing to do with it. It'll have they shouldn't. If they knew, right? If they knew that Versus was going to take that so long to make, why release the trailer like 7 years ago? Why would you do that if you knew it's going to? None of that's going to be in it. You know that, like the system, the battle system, which looked great. Everyone was like, "Oh, battle system, yeah, it looks fantastic." That's why everyone was excited for it, because it was fucking different. Not like the same linearity that all the games have. But it's where Final Fantasy XII went wrong. It's fixing it. It's good. You can fire guns. You can like push a button that fires a gun. You can walk freely. You have cars and petrol stations and buildings and nights with guns and explosions, and it's so dark and lovely. But you know, they're gonna get so much hate from fans. That's all I can say. Like, I was so angry when I heard this. That's the thing I was looking forward to the most. So, moving on to the lighter news. I'm sorry, I have been ranting for like 15 minutes. Dear God. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD Remix. Now, this is the thing we're all loving. Absolutely loving. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD Remix. So, they're at Play the PlayStation, which was a sort of really crap gameplay expo, showed off the first gameplay demo for Kingdom Hearts 1.5. And can I say, it is Kingdom Hearts, but with more light shed on it. That's all I can say. To me, it isn't really HD. It's been re-rendered. Like, Silent Hill HD wasn't really HD. Like, it was sort of Silent Hill with a stream of light going through it. That was all it was. Made it less scarier. The HD made it less scarier because it was scary because everyone had pixelated faces. Emotions were all falling off her face, L.A. Noire style. You know, it was alright. I've got lots of HD remix packs, and I honestly can say I can't really see the difference in any of them. Like, the Hitman HD box set I got when it was out a couple of weeks ago, and to be honest with you, I see no difference in that from the original Hitman. The proportion of the body sizes to the guns are terrible. Like, HD to me, I don't know if it's wrong, is completely revamping it. I think that's what you have to do to make an HD remix work, because HD remixes have came out in the past couple of years. They were a fad. Like, they just started to come out. I can't remember what the first one was, but was it Silent Hill? No, it wasn't that recent. But you know, they've been going about for some time, and they do get well received. Like, The Hitman one did alright, I suppose. And the box art's cool, you know. But yeah, sorry I'm stiffing a lot. I just feel ill, dying slowly. But you know, this helps. Final Fantasy Tuesdays. So yeah, the gameplay demo is out. I can't say I'm too bothered about it. I'll get Kingdom Hearts. I want to get back into it because I just PewDiePie's playing it and it just makes me want to be sick, really. You know, I don't really like Kingdom Hearts. I think it's a terrible idea. Oh, Square Enix and Disney. It's not even Square Enix anymore, it's just Disney. Like, how many Final Fantasy characters can you actually chart that have made a meaningful appearance in Kingdom Hearts? There you go. Like, I know Sephiroth is a boss at the end, but the newer ones, they've just been cutting. It's going to be a Disney game. You know, and it's not my thing, I must say. Speaking of HD, Final Fantasy X HD has officially been announced to be getting a PS3 release. Now, I asked you folks last time if it was going to be out in PS3. None of you really knew, which helped a lot, really. Yeah, so, pardon me, I am burping away like a man who burps a lot. Final Fantasy X HD is getting a PS3 release. When, we do not know. I'm gonna get it. I was disappointed it wasn't gonna be in the Vita, but I'm gonna get all the Final Fantasy coming out in the PS3, you know, to show them off. I like showing off my Final Fantasy games. I have 13.2 and 13 on sort of little display thing, you know. And custom covers. Hell yes. Except 13, except printed out green for some reason. But, you know. So, whoa! That was a big rant. Jesus, like half of this is me ranting. I don't know if this will be split into 2 parts. I don't know if I'm eligible for uploading 15-minute videos. Hang on, I will check. Chickaroony, this is so unprofessional. Video manager. Oh yeah, new YouTube channel layout. Ooh, fuck that. Longest video is 21 minutes. So we're good. How did I start out on Final Fantasy? Well, it's a funny story. The thing that gave me inspiration to do this podcast was Little Big Podcast. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, Little Big Podcast was an old. I think the guys are dead. I don't know, they might be, but anyway. Yeah, Little Big Podcast was probably the first podcast that I had watched. I was really interested in it. I thought the idea that you could grow a community from just one thing was quite cool. Like, on my channel that I had then, I was constantly trying to put on new content, like videos and everything. I did a podcast before on, it was called The Game Box, and I tried to get everything fitted in, I didn't like it, it didn't work. And it was dumb, I was too serious, I didn't say naughty words like fuck and booby. But, you know, it was Little Big Podcast that had inspired me. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a podcast. And on Little Big Podcast, they're really helpful guys. They're really nice guys. They put on their channel description Q&A thing, frequently asked questions thing, and it said, I want to make a podcast. What should I do? So okay, that sounds good. And they said, make something not to please others. And that's what it said. Well, I don't know if it was them or someone else told me about it. Don't make something to please others. Make something that you like and is completely original. So, and something that will, you know, have... Of course you want to please others, but you don't want to, you know, spoon feed them all this information like doing big, huge gaming podcasts where you cover everything. No, they said it's best to do something that you enjoy doing. I didn't enjoy doing the podcast and all the news. I just couldn't be bothered. Like, some pieces of some pieces of news I wanted to cover. Some were just like, I don't want to do this anymore. But, so yeah, I thought, okay, games that I like. I originally was supposed to be doing a podcast called Farcast, and it was going to be a podcast about Half-Life, the Half-Life universe. Because that's like the second biggest gaming franchise that I know about, Farcast. And I tried it out, and I thought, I just don't have enough stuff. There's not enough new Half-Life news going about. I mean, I could put up some Kotaku there's articles and read what they say, but it's not really news. It's just stuff that they're talking about. So I thought I could talk about Half-Life, but I just thought, nah, I won't bother. So I thought Final Fantasy. and I looked up Final Fantasy podcast, and I did find some amazing people. The first Final Fantasy podcast I found was it's called Final Fantasy XIII. I don't know if they're still running, but they did really good podcasts, like hour-long ones. I just never really could be bothered. This one might go on a bit, actually, because I've been talking a lot of bollocks, haven't I? But, yeah, so, FXN Network did a lot of good stuff. They did sort of, they had news, they had discussions. Theirs was basically one big discussion channel. I went, alright, this is cool. So, I did my first Final Fantasy Fridays on my old channel, Mr. Metaphor, and it got 66 views. It was alright. Did another one, and then I went, hang on, wait a minute, this is absolute pish. It's not working. So I went, nah, to hell with it, I'll just watch podcasts. And then I stopped doing it for a while. So, a couple of months ago, I gave it another bash, Final Fantasy podcast, and I found a very good podcaster by the name of Final Fantasy XIII-2. Hello, if you're listening. Sorry. They do Final Fantasy Talk, which is not really a podcast. It's more of a news bulletin. That's what it is. But they do a podcast now, Final Fantasy Talk, which I've been pressurised to go on to several times. All of which I've had to turn down because I'm just too busy and slash or ill. But yeah, they were really good, and I went, I'm going to do Final Fantasy Fridays one more time. If the first video does well, I'm just going to keep going. The first video, as of now, has 1,000 views. Now, I know that's not much, but that's more than everyone in the entire building of the High down the street. That's amazing. I just can't believe that I've got that many views on one video. I mean, I know it's not much, but it's a start. Like, my Mr. Metaphor took months to get to 1,000 views, and I got to 1,000 views in, like, a couple of weeks. It was really good, and I can't thank you enough for all that help. You know. And so, yeah, I decided to do Final Fantasy Fridays. I didn't want to do just like a Final Fantasy podcast, so I thought, do an acronym. Do FFF. Is that an acronym? Yeah, FFF. Final Fantasy Fridays. Ooh. That's my tea finished. So a couple of weeks ago, I googled Final Fantasy Fridays, and that was the first result. But down a bit, there's a guy that does LPs. I don't know if he still does them on a Friday, and he did Final Fantasies and he did Final Fantasy Fridays. I didn't steal from him, honestly. He'd done videos years ago. I don't know if he still does Final Fantasy Fridays, but I thought I'd do a podcast no one else has done before, and I enjoyed it. Podcasts really do generally tend to have special guests, so I'll need to get some people over. But being in Scotland, our internet's terrible, and I live in the country, which isn't very good. I've got a gaming PC though, so Old Bitsy. I need a name for her. I'll call her Old Tifa. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. So yeah, I was going to talk about how has versus changed too much, but I think my answer to that is probably yes. Because of all that ranting I've done. Like, only 15 minutes of this has been proper news. How am I going to even name this one in the header? So much pish to talk about. So yeah, that is how I got into YouTube. Well, not how I got into YouTube, to be fair. I also have another person to thank for me getting into Final Fantasy, not just doing my podcast. Now, when I was a kid, I wasn't really an avid gamer, and now that's all I do, really. But, pardon me, when I was a kid, I wasn't that big of a gamer. I had a PS1, and me and my friends sometimes, you know, played it, and it was fun. And I went round to their houses and me beat Spyro 2 in one day. It was fucking the best day ever. But, you know, I didn't really play that much games. One day at the car boot sale of all places, I purchased a game, Final Fantasy IX it was. Now, albeit you may want to hang me after I say this, I did not enjoy it. It was too hard to play, didn't understand what was going on, didn't like the characters, didn't like anything about it, didn't like the gameplay, blah blah blah. It wasn't very good. So, sorry, I just started there. So, Final Fantasy IX was my first Final Fantasy, and whilst I took my PS1 down to my grand's one day, and my cousin stayed over, well, she kind of stayed there, and sold it. Sold my PS1 and all my games. And Final Fantasy IX along with it. I wasn't too bothered about that. I was more bothered about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. That was a brilliant game. I want it back. I can't buy it anywhere. Jesus, Christopher. But anyway, yeah, so I was off Final Fantasy 40 a while, but I had played the game and everything. Now, you must not hold me to this. I have only been into Final Fantasy for about 5 years. Okay, for about 5 years. A couple of those years I haven't. 2011 was when I really got back into it. But pre-2011, I was one of those people who had played the games, thought they were alright, yada yada yada. I liked 7. That was about it. But on Little Big Planet, relating back to it, there was a Final Fantasy VII costume pack which I bought, and me and my best chum, old Reese, his name is, not Reese, but you know, he was a big fan of cheese, big fan of Japanese cadavers. Not cadavers, is that a dead body? I don't know, Japanese stuff. And I said, I really need to get back into this, and he said, you probably should, because lightning is hot. Lightning is hot. So in 2011, it was quite early, I think, in the year, I went out and I got Final Fantasy 13, which was probably the first not the first Final Fantasy I played, but the first one I got into that much, apart from 7, because I'd played all of them before that, all of them up to that, but except I kind of stopped at 8. I'd played like 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, that was about it, before I really got into it. So I owe everything to that little man somewhere, wherever he is, presumably dead, over there. Why am I pointing towards my kitchen sink? He's not there, no. But anyway, well, noodles and new debts. I hope this has made up for my incredibly short, horrible excuse for an episode last week. So yeah, from me on this Tuesday, the 12th of February, thank you for all of you for watching. Sorry if I went on a bit for about 20 minutes, you know, but you don't have to watch all this. If you do, I would be surprised. If you're hearing this right now, put in the comments, hello, just write hello in the comments, then I'll know you actually like me. So, down in the comments, if you've got this far into the episode, write hello and / or hi or something. So, from Mr. Metaphor, ladies and gents, thank you for watching, and I will see you around, presumably somewhere. Ciao.